What's up, everybody? We are here. Playoffs are back, baby.
Woo!
Welcome back to another edition of Soft Dump in the Corner, presented to you by North 6 Sports. Luke Pendlebury, take us away. We are here, baby. Playoffs are back.
Yeah, nothing beats a little playoff hockey. Starts tomorrow night, so I'm so excited. I think we got some of the West games for tomorrow, but I know my boys don't play till Tuesday, so I got a little bit of waiting to do. But I'm for the first time and probably the first time ever since this format of playoffs, I'm actually kind of happy with the matchups for this round one. So
Not crazy about the times themselves either, because I know the Oilers are a little bit delayed as well. So, I mean, I'm not
yeah.
crazy about that as well. Sorry, I thought you were going off on that one as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, buddy, 2 games tomorrow, 2 games Sunday, 3 games Sunday, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
We're obviously, we're here. It still hasn't hit me yet. I'm still a little bit bitter, if I'm being honest, just regarding the Oilers' loss. I still hate that, to be honest. I still haven't gotten over that. So, and you know what? Quite frankly, maybe I, maybe I never will. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, news and notes around the league, just super quick as we kind of wrap up the season. There's a lot that we're gonna skip over, but I kind of wanted to dial in a few of the more interesting parts in terms of what we generally speak on and some of the fun stuff that we generally talk about. With that being said, I did want to point out just really neat in the NHL. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Montreal Canadiens,
Oh, absolutely.
arguably showing why they are one of, if not the best franchise in the entire league in terms of how well they're run and what they do and give back to the community.
Mhm.
If you do not know, Brendan Gallagher, his mom passed away very recently due to cancer.
Mhm.
Long story short, we talked about it a few episodes back about just what happened. There was a lady there that purchased his Hockey Fights Cancer jersey that at the bottom of it had "I fight for," and then you write in the name of the person that you do so. And Gallagher, of course, wrote his mom. Shortly after, unfortunately, she passed. That fan reached out, said, "Brendan, I think this is a really important jersey for you. This was the last time that you wore, any type of jersey in this form before she passed." Incredible gesture, by the fan to do
Mhm.
such a thing like that,
Yeah.
to just come out and say, "I think it's a lot more important to you, and I would rather that you have this." No
Mhm.
way, shape, or form did she ever mean it and to say, "Hey, I want something for it." So that was the greatest part.
Mhm.
So long story short, the Canadians brought her out to center ice after the final game there. They did a cool celebration. I think they got like a team signed jersey for her and everything like that. So
Yeah.
really, really cool. Special shout out to the Habs.
Yep.
They continuously do it right time after time after time. You never hear anything bad about the franchise. You never hear anything bad from the players and teams, coaches, staff, everything like that. So
Mhm.
golf clap,
Yeah.
kudos to the Montreal Canadiens.
Absolutely.
Anything that you wanted to touch base on in terms of the last week here, in terms of news and notes?
No, I'm just I'm excited. Cooch got the Art Ross back-to-back years, so he beat out Mac Daddy for the old Art Ross. So I think he flies under the radar when people kind of list off maybe your top 5 players in the world right now, and sometimes he doesn't even get mentioned. Even as silly as it sounds, like last year I got Cooch in the second round in my fantasy draft. Like, how the hell does he drop that far down when this guy's putting 100 points year after year? So, other than that, we'll obviously dive into kind of point totals and goal totals.
Let's do it. Let's just do it right now. Let's
Sure.
just do that right now. We're gonna save that for later, but why don't we just do the recap of the awards picks right now? That was something that we had in the books here, so we'll just do Art Ross here. So why don't we just super quick? I'm gonna list out the names of your picks and my picks previous to this was back from episode 37, I believe. We made our picks of who would win the awards. Luke, you picked Art Ross, McDavid. Wrong.
There's a lot of
Songs.
X's on this list.
All right, I'm just teasing. So McDavid for Art Ross. You chose Rocket was Austin Matthews.
Yep.
The Norris was Cale Makar. Vesna, you picked UC Saros.
High on the Preds, baby.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
big
respectable pick though at that time of season. I totally understand where the head was at there. Yeah, Hart Trophy, you picked McDavid, and Calder, you picked Lane Hudson.
I know. I was high on that kid, dude.
Nutsy.
High.
Very well done, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
kudos, dude. Kudos.
Yeah,
I loved
thank
him
you.
in preseason too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but for you to pick that's a good one for Calder, because there was a lot of big name picks. You had Celebrini in there. You had Michkov in there. Like, there was a lot of big names that could have
Yep.
won it. Stankoven was also there, who somebody else happened to pick. So we'll proceed to my picks, who are also there. I'll do that one first. I did pick Logan Stankoven there. I did think he had an overall good season. Of course, as we know, it got kind of flipped and turned a little bit at the trade deadline when Randon became available. So that was a whole stir up there. But let's proceed in. I had McDavid also to win Art Ross.
Wrong.
I picked David Pastrnak to win the Rocket. It looked very murky and very not so good for anybody who picked David Pastrnak fantasy-wise, to anybody who bets on him, whatever, or even just personal, just kind of opinions on where he would finish. But boy, oh boy, let me tell you, did he ever finish with a strong season? 43 rips. I think he finished third in the NHL, and I think he still was 106 points, playing on a team that was not that great all season, to be honest with you. So kudos there. Norris, I had Miro Heiskanen. I thought he had a pretty decent start. He wasn't putting up huge numbers in terms of points. He had a tremendous start to the season. Unfortunately, didn't play the rest of the season. Got injured, was out. My Vezina, I picked Jake Ottinger. He started out okay, but did not finish the season very well. And we're going to relay that into the next points in terms of when we forecast playoff matchups here, on why I think Ottinger's downfall was going to be something that the Dallas Stars need to focus on here, on getting right quickly. And the Hart, I had McDavid as well. So quick recaps there. Both of us, McDavid on Art Ross. Kucherov, we know, has won that. So we're both a little bit off on that. Austin Matthews was a little bit injured this season, possibly too. Didn't put up the same production as maybe most had thought. Still finished the season with what,
33? He scored
30,
less.
33, 34-ish, roughly. Respectable. People don't understand that when I say respectable. That is absolutely respectable. So just please bite your tongue when you try and tell me that that's not. David Pastrnak, man, tossing 43 up is really strong too for a team, like I said there. But, Draisaitl, the only 50 goal scorer this year.
Yeah, wild.
Interesting.
Really wild.
Very interesting. We're going to jump onto that in just a quick moment. The Norris, I think, as we all know, Makar should probably win that one. I do believe Quinn Hughes could absolutely get the recognition here. So we'll see about that one. I believe, or I should say, the betting odds believe that Makar is there. The Vezina, I really don't think this is a question. This is a runaway. I don't even think Hellebuck should lose a vote. This should be unanimous, to be honest, in my opinion. Vezina, 48 wins or 47 wins as a goalie in a season, and ridiculous amount of shutouts and big game saves. I think that's unanimous. Hart Trophy, it's a question mark, to be honest with you. So, you got your Draisaitl. I think Kucherov should certainly be up there. McKinnon should probably be up there. But don't you think Hellebuck should probably be up there too? If you had to pick a top two, probably Draisaitl and Hellebuck right now. Would you say?
Hellebuck should be up there, absolutely. He's the core reason why that team won the President's Trophy this year. 47 wins is a lot. That's crazy.
Absolutely. 47 games played for a goalie is pretty much average now for most startings, because they almost split games.
Like the last time a goalie won the Hart was Price, I think, 2015.
Something's probably that would be right.
Yeah, and to carry that team to where they are,
no pun intended.
Yeah,
to carry.
But yes, I think Hellebuck should be mentioned. Whether he wins or not, he should definitely be in the finalist.
For sure. What are we on to? Norris, we did. Vezina, we did. Hart, like I said, that was a quick recap there. Calder, I think it's kind of between Celebrini and Hudson. I think Hudson closed the season really well. I think the Canadians making the push for the playoffs, and not only making the push, but making playoffs, with Hudson being a significant factor in that.
Yeah, he is.
I would think that Hudson's going to take that one this year,
despite
Celebrini scoring 30 goals, didn't he?
He did. Yes, I think he did.
Do you want to stat check that super quick here?
I'm
going to jump into, because I know we were checking in on the Draisaitl stat here. I wanted to bring up a couple really interesting notes here in terms of point production around the league. So I will go on the goal scoring side first, because we were just chatting that there. There were four. There were 50 goal scorers last season. 4 of them. This season, 1, Leon Draisaitl. And he only scored, I think, 52 or 54, something like that.
52.
52.
Fact check. We're both off. He scored 25.
25. Okay, so sorry. I mean,
still good for a rookie.
Certainly wasn't 30. Yeah. 25 as a rookie on that team?
Yeah. He had 25 goals, 38 assists, 63 points in 70 games.
Because he was injured for a few. So he probably would have been on a 30-goal pace or close enough too. So very respectable for Celebrini as well. And that kid's going to be a stud. Listen to the last one when we talk about Bedard versus Celebrini. If you didn't check that out, folks, please do. It's a really interesting conversation. Another point too that I found was very interesting. Last year, there were 900-point season players. This year, take a quick guess without knowing. Do you know the number?
I know the number.
There were 6 100-point players. So, what's the reason for that? What's happening? Okay, I did the quick math for you. I decided to look into this one, figure out what's going on. Goals were down this year to 3.01 total goals per game in the NHL.
Versus, what was that, 3.08?
From 3.08 from the year before, and 3.14 the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing significant goal digression in the last few seasons. Yet, some of these big-name players are hitting personal highs.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen to this. I was doing some research.
Overall save percentage for goaltenders has declined to .901. That is the lowest ever in the last 2 decades. So, like, the correlation doesn't add up where, like, the lowest save percentage we've seen in 20 years, but yet the lowest goal we had less goals this year than we did in previous years.
Right. You'd have to then direct to Corsi, which is shot attempts. Because then you would be able to figure out shots on net. Are they being shot blocked? Are they being missed the net? Are being, saved by the goalie? Or are they being hitting a post? I don't know, man. It's really interesting to be honest with you, because I want to say that number is skewed by the fact that there were 4 or 5 teams that just were so piss poor on offense this year. That they basically single-handedly brought that number down. I'm not saying it would drop that, 0.07 drop to average of last season, but I mean, there are a couple teams out there like your New York Islanders, your Calgary Flames. I mean, like some of these teams out here, like
Carolina, dude, like Aho only had like 70 points, and he was their top goal.
Right. And, even Minnesota didn't score many goals. Like, it's just, and they were really good. So, if you're getting good goaltending and you're not scoring a lot of goals, sometimes that can make your team look a lot better than it actually is anyways, right? So you got to kind of hope that you get that goaltending in the playoffs or you're screwed or you flip the switch, right? But 9 players last year, only 6 players this year to reach 100 points. And Mitchie Marner sneaking in there finally with 102 points. Did you see the way that he celebrated that though?
I mean,
again, I
the boys are happy. I'll give it to them.
I hate finding ways to be mad at the kid and just want to say, hey, I know you're not trying to showboat here and show people up. But
the
when
guys are
you
happy
jump
for
up
him.
and down like a little fucking schoolgirl who just got her first sale in the Girl Guide cookies, you look like an idiot. And then you got the balls to go out in Game 82 with your little fucking social media chat group and with the 3 or 4 boys and just go no buckets in warm up.
I did
You've
see that. I was
never
there
done
last
that.
night.
You've never done that in your whole career. And now all of a sudden you're just going no buckets. Did you see Matthew's response? And when they asked him on the ice,
No, what do
they
you
go,
say?
what's going on here? Why is everyone taking the buckets off? Whatever. Like they thought he was like, to me, at least, this is the way it came across. If you look up the interview on the ice pre-game and Matthews just straight face. I got no idea why they're doing that. I didn't like the way that came across if I'm the Leafs dressing room.
Yeah.
That is a message.
Well,
right
isn't
there.
is it by the team or is it by the league? If you don't come in with a bucket, you get fined in warm-ups. Is it by the team or by the league?
It's a great question. It's a
If
great
it's by the
question.
league, maybe he's just answering to like cover his ass.
It could be. It could be for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think you're just going to come out and say, oh, I don't know whatever. But it's it was
Yeah.
just the
It was the
tone.
tone.
It was the
Yeah.
tone. I think that
Yeah.
really, in my opinion, and could have watched it and saw it differently. I don't know. Those are just simple things that I pick up, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing last year when Willie Nylander on the playoffs on the bench. No one knew it until the hot mic was released. Willie
I knew something
Nylander,
was up.
same thing. All you guys do is fucking bitch and complain. Like Willie Nylander's calling them out mid-game. And
Yeah.
that's little Mitchie Marner, little Mr. I want my 14 mil.
Yeah.
Fuck, don't get me going. We're going to move on
Just
from
prove it
that.
in the playoffs this
We're
year.
going to move on from that.
Everyone's tongue.
And we are going to the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
I know that's football, but it would be pretty fitting if we had that music in here right now. Let's just do this. We're going to go right into the playoffs. We're going to preview everything, and then we're going to give an X factor of the series as well, too. So let's just go right into it. Eastern Conference, and I apologize to anybody who's listening when I say this. This is my opinion. I ranked them in the way that I wanted to watch them, in least excited to watch to most excited to watch. Okay, so I'm sorry for those your Leaf fans. Please skip ahead about 15 minutes if you don't want to hear this one. Okay, being brutally
I did not
honest.
even realize that because now I'm looking at the order and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna get into it.
That's funny.
Matchup number 1: Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils. So, realistically, Carolina's a pretty heavy favorite right now. Jack Hughes is out for the New Jersey Devils. That's a big loss for them. They did get Dougie Hamilton back, which is a big gain. But what's your take on this one? Like, take this one away. I don't know how much there is to go off on this one because I feel like it may get ugly. But please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, for me, I don't think it's going to be a very close series. I think Carolina's going to wipe them with the floor.
Wipe
like
them with the floor. So they're going to take the floor.
They're going to take the floor and wipe them with
the floor.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's
Mr. Clean.
Early morning. Early morning struggles. Anyways, like you mentioned, Jack Hughes is out. Big portion of their offense is out. They got, Jesper Bratt, who put up over 80 points. Solid player. He's been, I think, an underrated player in this league for the last couple of years. No one really mentions him, but he's been putting up 70 plus, 80 plus points each year. It's gonna be a big series from Jacob Markstrom. He's gonna be facing a lot of shots. But at the end of the day, I think Carolina's gonna win in 5. I maybe give the Devils one game, but one player to really look at is Jakob Slavin. And after watching him at Four Nations and how good defensively this guy is, this is going to be a big problem for the Devils to try and peel into that offensive zone, because you got him on the ice. Basically, good luck getting anywhere near the goaltender. So Carolina in 5. It's my take.
Love it. Yeah, so a lot of that, I agree wholeheartedly. The one thing I'm not crazy about is I don't trust Carolina. I really don't. And here's the thing. If you want to get into a shootout with New Jersey, you're going to lose. I hate to break it to you, but Carolina doesn't have the overall depth of speed to match that, the way that the offensive flair that New Jersey can play with. I also don't believe that New Jersey can play a shutdown game. And if Carolina just wants to shut you down and wear you down and work it that way, I don't think that they're going to be able to get out of that.
Yeah.
The reason why is because we've seen the way that Toronto was shut down over the years, that Keefe was here, and he's now the boss there. He's doing the same thing. He's basically running a similar team with a better defensive core, and probably a better goaltender. But you've lost your best player, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens. I think New Jersey might look at this and say, hey, realistically, we've got as good of a chance as anybody here because Carolina doesn't scare many people on the offensive side of things. They end up scoring a fair bit of goals, but it's because they work hard. Their work ethic is why they're a good team. It's not because they're silly on the skill side. It's their depth of forward group. It's their depth on defensemen. They have good goaltending. But look who their bench boss is. Like Brendamore is one of the toughest workers that we've seen ever in the NHL's history. And those guys love him, right? So I agree. I think that Carolina is going to win the series. I wouldn't put it past it to go less than 6. It's either going to be, in my opinion, 4-1 or 4-2 Carolina. For the mere sake of it, I do think New Jersey steals a game at home. I don't think they steal 2 games. So I'm going to say Carolina in 5 as well. On to the next one here. This is an interesting one, and I didn't know how to rank it because I was a little unsure. We got the President's runner-up. Excuse me, I've almost called them the President's Trophy. We got the Washington Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal, a little bit of a blunder in the last 2 games. Certainly came in extremely hot. Talk to me about that. Like, obviously, Washington had the extremely important year with Ovi chasing the goals and doing that. Give me your thoughts on this particular series.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's an interesting one to at least. It's like, what team are you going to get from the Washington Capitals? Are you getting the team that's been pushing the momentum and been pushing all season for Ovi to finally break this record? You're going to get a team that's going to tame down a little bit because that is done and the momentum's kind of worn off from that feat, I guess we can call it. Just looking at Washington right now, they were the third highest goal scoring team in the league. They have 7 guys that have at least 20 goals on their team. So you've got so much depth across the lineup that can obviously rip the puck. But again, you're playing a Montreal Canadiens team that I don't think anyone really predicted that was going to make the playoffs to start with. You're getting a player like Suzuki, who is leading by example, both in the offensive zone and defensive zone. You're bringing in a kid from the KHL who lit it up, and Demidov, who you've only seen a very short stint of what he can do in the NHL. He looked very good in his first game, and it's obviously more time to kind of prove who he can be. And the only thing that I worry about Montreal is the goaltending gonna be strong enough to knock off the Caps? So, my opinion, I don't think so, but I still think they're gonna give the Caps a good run for their money just because of the way they've been playing going into playoffs. I've got Washington in 6.
In 6, okay, respectable. So here's the thing. I said it last time we were on the podcast. I truly believe this season for the Washington Capitals was about Ovechkin. And I don't mean that in the wrong way. I do not mean that in the wrong way. It is extremely important. It is extremely important that the NHL history books were rewritten. I'm super proud of Ovechkin for doing that. I'm incredibly proud of the team for the way that they were able to do that. They were not necessarily supposed to be there. If you ask pre-rank teams, everything, even us, we didn't think that they were going to, necessarily compete for playoffs. And they did what they did. And I think each and every night they came in there and they basically said, we got to work hard for Ovi. Look what he's done. He's the best. We love him. We love him. Work hard for Ovi. Work hard for Ovi. They drained and drained and drained so much of their battery, and they didn't look in the last 5 games like they had much left in the system. After Ovi broke that, you go watch their games in the last little while there. They lost a lot of them, and they were stumbling into that too.
Yeah.
Could change. Now, playoff series against Montreal. Montreal is hot right now. Montreal is the underdog. They are younger. They are first time in their playoffs for some of these kids. A lot of the time, and I think it's Suzuki's first playoff as a captain. Now that you have Caulfield, he's got a little experience, obviously scoring big goals in the Stanley Cup Finals against Tampa at some point there. I mean, some of these kids have a little bit of experience, and a lot of people don't recognize that because they look at some of the big areas. They go, oh, Cole Hudson hasn't played in the playoffs. Oh, Montembeau hasn't done anything. And okay, sure. So they got a lot of good pedigree in the playoffs too. Don't forget, this is a similar Montreal team that beat Leaf fans. I don't mean to bring that back up, but do you remember what happened in Game 7? My point being, we're sticking in Canada on this one, boys.
Whoa.
The Montreal Canadiens are going to win this series. I am telling you right now, Montreal's taking Game 2, okay? They're taking 1 in the first 2. They're going to take, I think, Game 2. I'd be willing to bet Game 1 probably goes to overtime. I think Montreal takes 1 in the first 2, and I really do. I think Montreal wins this in 6 at home.
My God.
At home. Montreal in 6. I really do think that their compete level can go there. I really do feel like, you know what, if you can just find a way to limit their production on the back end, and if you can get physical with that team, I know Washington's going to be physical as well, but you need your Josh Andersons of the world to get in there and be nitty gritty. You need, Jack Eye to be a factor. You need, your defensemen to do what they're supposed to do. I think Montreal can compete. I really, really do. Let's move on to the next one. Big one for you, the Battle of Florida. Take it away.
Oh.
This one's you. This one's you. Good luck picking the correct team on this one, but have fun.
This one makes me nervous. As the last couple years, as much as I hate to say it, Florida's had her number many times, which sucks to see. Florida is a very strong team, top to bottom. Bobrovsky's been so good the last 3-4 years, even playoff runs. Obviously, they won the Cup last year, and he was a big reason why. Florida needs to be healthy, obviously, if they get everybody back. I know Ekblad, I think, is good to go after his suspension, so I think he's good, but he's going to take some time because he's going to get his feet wet back into playing regular hockey, and it's playoffs, so he's going to have to be good to rock and roll. Tkachuk, I think, is good for Game 1 as well. And same with, I think, everybody else.
I haven't heard much on the Tkachuk end, but I think Ekblad, you're right, is one game.
Yeah, I don't want to be like a dick or anything, but if Tkachuk wants to hold off a couple of games, he's more than welcome to. But I know he won't be. The guy played a broken sternum in the finals 2 years ago, so that guy will be ready to. Might be in 60%, but he's like, I'm in. Big key parts here is Tampa going to get playoff Vasi from 3 years ago? Really hoping so, because if that's the case, then we're going to be looking pretty good. They got to find ways to beat Bob early. They got to take a commanding lead in the series off the hop. They got to have the lead. They got to take some momentum. So we'll see what happens. It's whether whoever wins, I don't even know if I can really say Tampa. I want Tampa to win, obviously. But this is going to 7, no less games than 7. This is a 7-game series written all over it. I'm actually down there for a wedding, so unfortunately it doesn't line up that I'm like the Panthers are around like in home while I'm there the day of the wedding, so obviously I can't go, but then the Monday I fly home. Unless I want to drive to Tampa for Thursday night.
Could be an option. You're not that far out of the realm to do that.
It's not terrible, but it's pushing. So games, it's going to go to 7 games. Really kind of pushing, obviously, for Tampa. But the boys got to click early, like I said, and hopefully they can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, the best part or the worst part about this is that one of these teams has to go home in the first round.
I know.
It's stupid, man. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It just sucks, man. It really sucks. There's some good series. Don't get me wrong. Congrats, Gary. Congrats, Gary, on your couple good series. But you got 2 or 3 that you're like, come on, Gary.
Yeah, I know.
Gary, come on. What are we doing here, Gary?
No, Gary.
All right, my take here. So, I truthfully don't want either of these teams to win. If we could just have them both eliminated, that'd be great. I want to say pinpoint one specific thing that this is going to come down to: goaltending save percentage. I truthfully believe Vasilevsky's going to steal this series.
I hope so.
I truly believe he will win them 2, maybe 3 games by himself. And I say save percentage because I think Florida is going to throw everything and the fridge at Vasilevsky, especially if they see that he's playing really hot. That might even include a couple of bodies in the crease. That might include Tkachuk getting in his grill and trying to do that. I'm interested to see. This is an on-the-fly question or on-the-fly example.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see. I think one of the cooler matchups that we're looking at here is the Tkachuk versus Vasilevsky. I truly believe if you can keep Vasi's crease clear. Why do I always choose such terrible tongue twisters on this podcast? You can keep that crease clear. I think he'll be able to see everything because he's a giant. But he'll be able to control the way that the puck flows. So what I mean by that, if he can get better vision on that puck and you can keep those big, like they have a big forward group, Florida does. They're very big, they're strong, they're tough to move, they deflect pucks well, they work with each other very well. If you can let Vasi see these pucks and you can really allow him to direct where the puck goes and move it to the corners, direct it to the rebound side of where the defenseman's strong side is going to be, making life easier. I know it happens quickly and it's not easy to do, but the best of the world can do that. He is, in my opinion, still the best goalie in the league. I don't trust Hellebuck in the playoffs. I don't. I'm taking Tampa Bay to win this series. I am going to take a lot of backlash here. I think Tampa Bay wins this series in 5.
Whoa, no chance. No chance, buddy.
That's my backlash, and that's my opinion.
I would love that.
Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Do you remember when Rob Brendamore's team, remember when Carolina lost 4-0, and they're like, I don't know what just happened. I don't even know how we just lost the series.
Yeah.
Because the goals were like damn near identical. Like everything was to this. I'm telling you, Vasilevsky can win this series. We've been missing the X factors here. I'm gonna just jump right in on this one here quick, and then we can go back.
I got some for this series.
I'm taking Vasilevsky as my X factor for this series. I think truthfully that Tampa can win this series. No Ekblad, very much banged up Florida roster right now. Lots of hockey for those guys in the last year and a half. Just saying, it eventually adds up.
Yep. For me, some X factors, and this is some players that they didn't have last year, but they had them when they were winning the cup. Oh, come on!
I said X factor, not X factors.
Okay, I'll do a first place and a runner up X factor. Take that. Ryan McDonough, and he is gonna be a big piece of that playoff run. He is a horse. That guy would block a puck with his face if he had to. Shuts down guys when needed. I loved him in the playoffs. Like you could arguably like put him up for the Conn Smythe, the second cup. He was so good, and no one noticed him. But like you noticed the little things of like him shutting down their top lines, and he did such a good job with it. And then my other one was Yanni Gourde. He's just a dog. He's gonna be a dog in the playoffs. He had the elbows up, baby. He had the game winner against the Islanders to send them to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Isles Shorty. So it's good to have those guys back because they know what it takes to win.
I agree. X Factor in Carolina, New Jersey series. Go.
It's Jacob Slavin for me. I guess
you did point that one. I would agree with that. I think Aho, truthfully, I really do think it's time for him to take over a series and prove that he's ready to compete for a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
I think Aho is going to be a big factor in that one there.
Yep.
Watch out for him specifically on the PK. I'm
Mhm.
curious to see in the PK because New Jersey's one of the better PK teams with Bratt and Heischer. Watch
Mhm.
out for Aho on Carolina on the PK as well.
Mhm.
He's my X factor. Washington, Montreal, go for it.
For the Habs, I think Demidov. I think that guy's potential so high, and he's played so in the KHL. In the KHL, is you're playing with the same, let's call it, age group. So like he's not, as a kid, he's still playing with older guys. He can still develop. He can still play well. Yeah, I do have the Caps winning, but I think Demidov, has shown bits of what he can do, and he could really be a big piece of this Habs if they do win and move to the next
Pure
round.
adrenaline as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? Could it weigh on him not that he's playing Ovechkin in the first round? Just
Yeah.
looking up to
Could
your
be.
idol, and then you're nowhere near expecting any of this, and then all of a sudden you play
Yeah.
the final 2 games, and then you're like, oh, by the way, your first round matchup, you're playing Ovi. You're like, I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to bug him. I
No.
watched the first 2 games pretty attentively, actually,
Mhm.
and he's looked good, man. He's looked very
Yeah.
confident. Certainly needs to work on a lot, and you can tell that the
For sure.
game speeds and chemistries and all that
Yeah.
is not
That'll come with
necessarily
time.
there, but to come in, he's looked very effective. I'm going to go Nick Suzuki.
Yep.
Truthfully, I think I just there's something about that them this year. I just feel good about. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. We did the Tampa series, but folks, let's get into it. This is what you've all been waiting for. This is your cue. This is your
Oh,
15-minute dial up that you guys have been missing for the last little while over the last 4 rounds, 3 teams, whatever, 3 series. Excuse me. Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. The Battle of Ontario is back.
Mhm. Yep.
Take it away.
Oh,
Give me your
baby.
thoughts.
I'm excited for this series. Honestly, I think it's good. I think it's a good matchup for Toronto. I don't think they would want Florida or Tampa, even though they've been very successful against both those teams in the regular season. But like we know, regular season playoffs are completely different stories, completely different games. You're getting a team that is inexperienced in playoff situations. Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk has not seen a playoff game in his career. But that doesn't mean they're going to come with everything they have. Brady is going to be a force out there, and we know I think the Four Nations has kind of put it on a pedestal of what these guys can do and how much they're going to play for either their team or their country.
Mhm.
Brady's going to go out there like a wrecking ball. He's going to be throwing his body everywhere. But he is going to push his team and do the best job they can to fight off this Leafs team. But I think the Leafs you'll be seeing the Leafs in the second round. Leafs in 6, I think, is kind of where it's going to be. As long as the core 4 can find ways to step up and play hockey like they do in the regular season, Leafs will be in the second round.
Okay. You know what the good thing is with this one?
What's
No
that?
matter what, I get to raise the jersey. We're sticking in Canada for this one, baby.
Staying in Ontario,
All right.
actually.
We're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2. That's my point of this exercise here. We're 2 for 2
Yep.
on Canadian teams getting through. All right. So I'm going to tell you what I'm about to do. And that is say to you. that was a little too much. I'm going with
Don't even do it.
the Ottawa Senators.
You're fucked. No way. You're so fucked.
All right. Now everyone's got the chance to get it out. Oh, shut up. You're a fucking
For the Rocket.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is the end. The end of this Toronto Maple Leafs regime. I'm telling you, it ain't going to be an easy series.
No.
Let me explain to you this.
No.
This is going to be a battle. It really is. I truthfully do think it's going to be tight. There's something about the way that the Senators have clicked lately. There's something the way that they just thrive with being the underdog. There's a lot of them that are just coming in with just a lot of grit in their teeth. And I just don't think that they're intimidated by the Leafs in any way, shape, or form.
No.
If you ask the Leafs right now, do you feel comfortable playing the arguable second hottest team in the NHL going into the playoffs? First, obviously, hottest team being the Blues, in my opinion. Do you really want the hottest team in the NHL, let alone one of your arch rivals for decades and decades, your provincial rival? Do you understand the backlash of this if they can lose?
Oh, yeah.
What'll be worse if they lost
Upside
to
down.
Montreal a couple years ago, or if they lose now, where they're
Wow.
Atlantic Division champs? And can you imagine they go out in the first round? Now, we said we are predicting what's going to happen in this series. I think the Maple Leafs are going to go up 2-0. I think they win game 1 6-2. I think it's a fucking walk in the park. Get your boots out. We're ready to rumble. Look at us. I think the Leafs show up for game 1. I think they look like a Stanley Cup contender in game number 1, Lucas. Well, let me tell you something. This ain't the NFL, brother. This ain't no one and done, sir. You got to win 4. How many times has the Leafs won 4 in the last 40? The Leafs, my friend, are a team that people continuously tell themselves that they're gonna come back and everything's gonna be okay, and that the one day they're gonna do it. They're the boy who cried wolf. That wolf's still crying. I'm telling you.
I don't know, man.
I am taking the Ottawa Senators to win in Game 7 in round number 1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Linus Ullmark is a big upgrade in playoffs for them this year, or just in net. I think, and don't forget they lost to Ottawa or to Boston last year with the combination of Swayman and Ullmark. So I don't think anything matters to them in that sense. I think Jake Sanderson is my X factor in this playoff round. I'll let you take this one away in a moment, but I am saying Jake Sanderson is a massive upgrade for the Leafs if they were to have him. He's going to be a stud. I'm telling you right now, you watch the way that this kid is going to take over this series. They're going to win on the power play, and they're going to beat the Leafs shorthanded too. I think special teams is going to be massive.
Yeah.
If the Leafs go 0 or 1 for 20, 1 for 21 again this year like they did last playoffs against Boston Bruins, which is unlikely because Bruins probably have better PK. They're toast. Call me crazy. I got Ottawa Senators. I got Ottawa in 7. Little tidbit. Leafs win the first 2. Ottawa wins the second 2. Leafs win game 5. Ottawa wins game 6. Goes back. Breaks the hearts of Leafs land. They lose in first round again. Mitch Marner walks in UFA. John Tavares goes away in UFA. Morgan Riley requests a trade out. Probably gets traded to Vancouver for a draft pick. Go ahead, Luke. I just pissed certainly a few people off.
You just pissed all over the CN Tower. All over it. Yeah. No, I don't know. That's crazy. I'm not, game 7, anything happens in game 7, Leafs are not very successful in 7. So if it does go to 7, then yeah, maybe you might have it. But
if it goes to 7, they're toast.
My X factor, I'm just going to take someone from the core 4 because there hasn't been much success. I'm going to take Austin Matthews. I think he needs to step up. He's now the captain this year. A lot more pressure on him. Regular season, yeah, he dealt with some injuries. Goal totals were down from the year before. But again, people don't realize when you're wearing the C, it's more than just what's on the ice. You got to be a leader off the ice as well. You go into community events, you're showing up, representing the Toronto Maple Leafs as a whole. So hopefully he can kind of push that into playoffs, show him that he can do everything. Hopefully he's healthy and he can rock and roll and take down the Sens. So, yeah, cool. Matthews, X Factor.
The Boo, baby. Battle of Ontario.
Yeah.
The Boo. All right, let's go to the West. Let's go again. Started out. I'm going Winnipeg, St. Louis to start. To me, if I don't watch a single minute of this series, that's fine.
Yeah.
I say that, and I know I'm disrespectful because St. Louis is, like I said, they have been the best team in the NHL in the last 20 games or so, based on points alone and based on production alone. Winnipeg, President's Trophy winner. Do you trust them? What are they going to do in playoffs? Is this their year? It's their year every year. They'll tell you. Go ask the boys on TSN. Go ask the boys on Sportsnet. Last 5 years, boy, look out for them Jets. Better watch out for them Jets. They got that Connor Hellbuck in net. Boy, I tell you, they got that Josh Morrissey. He's up and coming young. That Scheifele, he's ready to get out and get out of his shell. Oh, boy, that Kyle Healer is. What the fuck have they done in the playoffs? Nothing. That's the answer. Nothing. So, talk to me about Winnipeg, St. Louis. What do you say? What's your take here?
The President's Trophy curse will haunt the Winnipeg Jets. I have the Blues in 7.
With 7?
I have it in 7. I think the Jets will put up a fight. I think Hellebuck's not going to be near as good as he is in the regular season. As long as St. Louis can push that momentum they've had in the regular season, because they have a strong team top to bottom. Robert Thomas is on another level. Bennington is starting to look more matured out there. Played very well at the Four Nations, and I think that's kind of pushed forward into wearing the Blues.
Bennington just jumped Corey Perry last week. He's in prime playoff form.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
He is
Jordan Hextall.
Jordan Hextall.
Anyways, if the Blues Blues continue their push, I think they are going to sneak out a win against the Jets, and that is going to be my big upset for this bracket. I don't know. I don't see the Jets finding success against the Blues. The Blues are hot right now, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I think it will go 7, and that's why I think the Blues are going to sneak out with a win and shock the world.
Sounds great. I don't hate it because this series to me is very much up in the air. I've been sitting there thinking, like, as much as I don't think it'll be extremely high entertainment on the offensive side, like there might only be 20 goals scored in this entire series. I gotta say though, like we're sticking in Canada for this one. All right, we're 3 for 3 on Canada teams getting through. We're 3 for 3. Winnipeg's gonna win this series. So I just feel so. Don't forget too, St. Louis had that 14 some odd game win streak, 12, 13 game win streak,
12, I think.
12 game win streak. The team that beat them, the Winnipeg Jets. That doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying that's a fun little tidbit because if it were the Leafs, they'd be like, do you remember the last time that happened? It was in 1967. So, St. Louis playing extremely hot. They got a lot of good young players. They got a lot of similar style players. I just feel that Winnipeg, to me, they're due for a series win because they do the little things so right. Right? Mm-hmm. They just, to me, they play hockey the right way. They play for each other. They're always playing the simple game. If they need to cycle the puck in the corner, they'll do so. If they need to get to the front of the net, they'll make sure everyone's there. They score gritty goals. They score dirty, garbage goals in front of the net. It's not sexy hockey, but they win games. And they did that all season. And they had the best goalie in the league this year who won them many games. Don't get me wrong. He played phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I think that the Blues are going to come in, and even if they do happen to be momentum and adrenaline driven and focused and prepared and you name it, I just think Winnipeg has them on a superiority factor on so many different levels that I just think it'll be difficult for St. Louis, especially with the home ice disadvantage. I think the whiteout is going to be massive. Don't get me wrong, the Blues arena is phenomenal in playoff hockey. They are freaking awesome. Yep. But Winnipeg has a tremendous fan base in the playoffs. It's really cool to see the whiteout. I just think home ice is a huge benefit in the playoffs alone with the last change and just having momentum with your fan base. I see the series being very close. As I said, there might be 20 goals this entire series. We might have 3 or 4 games ending 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. To be honest with you, it's going to be close. I do think so. I got Winnipeg in 5.
Damn.
No, Winnipeg in 5. I feel the superiority, and I feel that they're due. To be honest with you, so I got Winnipeg in 5.
I thought you were gonna go Blues the way you're ripping on them before you said your opinion.
Yeah, you like that? Nobody knew I was gonna go that way, did you? On to the next one. On to the next one. Vegas and Minnesota. So weird one, just strictly alone for the fact that the Minnesota Wild had a couple key pieces in the last week alone come back. Kaprizov comes back healthy. Joel Eriksson Ek comes back healthy. Philip Gustafson struggled down the end, played arguably Vezina candidate trophy winning numbers and played very solid early for halfway at least through the season. Can he recapture that, right? Can their defense, is their forward depth, good enough? There's a lot of questions, but Vegas, man, they're a tough team. Take it away.
Yeah, Vegas is built top to bottom. Like they're so strong. They could be a team if they hoist Lord Stanley. I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, when you have a back end with Pietrangelo and Theodore, you got Aiden Hill in net, who's proven to be a winner.
Cup champ.
Jack Eichel's having a year.
Very good year.
Very good year. And he's one of those smart players that like just knows the ice well. He'll be 2 steps ahead of anybody else. Incredible to watch. If he was in any other draft, he probably would go first in a lot of them. At the end of the day, I don't know if Minnesota's got what it takes. Depending on, you got Fleury and Gustafson in that. I just don't think they're going to be able to hold up Vegas. I got Vegas in 5.
In 5, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can pull it off.
I got a little bit of a different take on that. I'll quickly recap it though. I think Vegas wins the series. I really do. I'm gonna go Vegas in 7.
Ooh.
I tell you right now, I think Minnesota's gonna find a way to figure them out middle of the series and make Vegas change the way that they play to then win. Because I think Vegas has the ability to change the way that they play.
Yep.
I don't think Minnesota has that, I guess, flexibility that Vegas has to make those changes. With the depth that Vegas has, man, it's so hard because they can just keep firing and firing and firing, and they're all about 8 feet tall, it seems. I don't think the shortest guy on their roster is below 6'2" or 6'3". It's insane.
It's like Space Jam when they fight the aliens.
Yeah, man. Like it's wild, man. It's the Looney Tunes versus the Monstars in this one. To be honest, but it's like Endgame Looney Tunes, like when they're buzzing, you know what I mean? It's just I think it's gonna be a good series. This is good hockey series. Don't get me wrong. Winnipeg, St. Louis, if you love defense, if you like structural play and that type of stuff, awesome. Vegas, Minnesota, I think is going to be a really interesting series to watch. I think there's a lot more entertainment value than we were thinking. You got Kaprizov and Eichel, star talent. You got a lot of really good defensemen up on play here. Like there's, Pietrangelo and Faber, if you want to match those two, who's going to be on the ice longer. They both play close to 25 minutes a night. It's a lot of cool factors. My particular X factor in this series, though, alone, it is Jack Eichel. You said it too.
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. This guy can win a series alone. He is that good. I do think Kaprizov is that good as well. I think Kaprizov just didn't have enough time coming back to really get to full up to speed, to get to playoff ready quickly enough, in my opinion, to be the dynamic factor you need him to be puck drop game 1. He might be running on adrenaline right away. What happens come 3, 4, game 5, etc. Anything else on that particular series?
No.
Did we name an X factor on Winnipeg, St. Louis?
No, he didn't.
Pardon me. So my Winnipeg, I was going to say, I think that Kyle Connor is going to be a game changer there. I think he's going to score 5 goals in that series.
Ooh.
And I got them winning in 5.
Damn. For me, it's Jordan Binnington. If he plays like he did, Four Nations was able to shut down the biggest key moments in playoff games. Then St. Louis is going to be looking good.
Yeah, love it. On to the final 2 here. This one sucks too. Colorado and Dallas.
This one sucks.
Same as Battle of Florida. Like you're losing one of these teams, and they should arguably be a Stanley Cup. This could be a conference final matchup, not a first round matchup. Give us your take. Return of Rantanen. Dallas is struggling right now. They're just creeping into the playoffs, even though they locked in a spot almost 2 months ago. It felt like. Give me your take there.
Yeah, no, you made a good point. I was about to bring that up. Dallas has lost their last 7 games.
7.
Going in 7. They're on a 7-game losing streak. Obviously not what you want going into playoffs. You want your guys to be playing at top-notch shape. You want to have that momentum creeping into playoffs, and you're playing the Colorado Avalanche, who are no joke. These guys can they can run around circles on you, especially with Makar and McKinnon, 2 arguably the best 3 players to play on this planet.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard to choose because both teams are so deep. And Rantanen, I mean, the boys are going to play hard for Rantanen, see if they can, beat his old team. Duchesne was a point per game this year. I just learned about 10 seconds ago, which is incredible.
Did he really
He's
finish
82 and 82.
Fucking dude. I love
Good for
Dutchie.
him,
Good
eh?
for Dutchie. Good for him.
Even J-Rob had 80 points in 82 games, and Wyatt Johnson was 71 and 80.
You know what I don't like news-wise out of Dallas? That there has been no news out of Dallas for Jason Robertson.
I know.
That's not good.
No.
That means, to me, they're getting second opinions. That's what that sounds like to me. Either that or they're just simply not rushing out the idea that it was just a small bruise or something like that. They could just be toying with it. But I don't like that because you would think you would be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, J-Rob's in the lineup. No matter what, he's in the lineup. You tell people that right away. If he's playing, yeah, he's good to go. He's good to go.
I think both teams match up very well offensively. I think both teams do match up defensively very well. The reason why I am going to stick with Dallas despite their losing streak is coming down to goaltending. I think Jake Ottinger is going to outplay Mackenzie Blackwood. And I have Dallas in 7.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Tough series to really look at, to be honest with you. I've been so high on Colorado this whole season, and I'm still high on Colorado this season. I think they have a lot to prove. I think that they are, a little bit pissed off that a lot of people are not giving them the disrespect. I think Nate Dogg is extremely pissed off at his franchise, and I think that he is going to play with an edge to say, you just traded this guy away, albeit to technically Chicago, but albeit to Carolina, and then he ended up coming back here. You think Nate Dogg wants to lose to Rantanen now? Do you know how bad that'll look on the franchise if they freaking lose in the first round? So having said that, I got Colorado in this. I really do. I don't like the way that Dallas is struggling into the playoffs right now. You know what's even worse? Dallas is struggling into the playoffs right now, injured before they even go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Miro Heiskanen hasn't played a game since when? Like November? Roughly?
Yeah.
I think he played 25 games, give or take. Jason Robertson's now banged up. Even if it's not a big injury, he's still banged up going into playoffs. Most of these guys are. I don't like that, especially when you don't have home ice. Right? Now Colorado's got home ice. You've got to win an extra game on the road just to win back in their barn in game 7 if it goes to that. I think Colorado is just in a great spot right now, in my opinion, chemistry-wise and playing-wise. I think they're ready for this playoff run.
Dallas has home, right? Yeah, Dallas is home. Yeah.
Sorry?
Dallas has home ice, right?
I thought... Oh, they did. Okay, sorry. My apologies.
I'm just looking at it now.
What did they finish with points-wise? What were the 2?
1 sec.
I thought they ended up being
Dallas was 106. Colorado was 102.
Okay, so they did end up being a lot closer than it needed to be. So, okay, so pardon me. So Dallas is getting home ice there. I thought for some reason Colorado had home ice just based on the way that they finished the season. So, pardon me. Hands up accountability on that one. You don't get that. But hey, like I said, I still take Colorado regardless. And I still take Colorado in 6 regardless. I think that I really do feel that Colorado is going to win the first game. I think Nate Dogg's going to be a big piece of it. But my X factor in this series is going to be Valerie Nichushkin. Think back to last season when he had that substance abuse issue again, and that other issue again, and they could have just simply kicked his ass to the curb, said, "We're not dealing with this anymore. We're done with you. We gave you more than multiple chances," and they didn't do that to him. I think you take that as a player. As a player, you looked at and you say, I am incredibly grateful because if they would have let me go, there's no saying that somebody else would have technically went for him. They could have looked at it and said, I don't want that issue. Right? So they decided to keep him. I think he's going to be a big piece for them to come back now and just say, hey, listen, I appreciate that that's what you guys did for me, and I'm going to be a workhorse for you guys in the playoffs because he's a perfect playoff performer. Big body, goes to the front of the net, wicked shot, can play with smart players. What more do you want for a perfect playoff performer like that? Valerie Nichushkin, my X factor in this season. Last but not least, just because we're getting to the end of the podcast here, I don't want to keep you listeners too long here on Easter weekend so you can go find your chocolate trails. Los Angeles Kings and Edmonton Oilers. Are we shocked? The 4th
Kings in
year.
4. Goodbye.
That's he's done. He's out. Kings in 4. The 4th year in a row that we get this. Mind you, this is probably it is. It is. This is the most interesting and controversial of the 4 matchups. Last year, it was like all 3 in a row. Like, there's no way the Kings can lose now. And then it happened again. The Oilers shit kicked them last year.
Oh, yeah.
This year, for some reason, everyone is thinking that it's time for the Kings. Time for the Kings. They're time for redemption. Take this one. What's your play here?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, just the psychological part of it is like, this is the 4th time in a row. You think, okay, someone's due. It's like going to a roulette table. It's like, oh, I hit 4 times red. Okay, it's due to be black.
It's got to be black. Yeah.
Got to be black.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Kings do look good. I think Quinton Byfield has taken another step in his game this year. Has brought more offensive to the table. LA's never been really a big offensive team, but they've been a very good two-way team, and that's led by one of the better two-way players ever, Anze Kopitar. Matthias Ekholm being out is a big loss for the Oilers. Massive loss on the defensive end. I still think the Oilers are going to squeak one out, and I think it's going to go, I'll say 7. It's going to be a big series for the Edmonton Oilers. Prove everyone wrong, because I know a lot of people are high on the Kings, so I'm going to go Oils, 7.
And rightfully so. I mean, the Kings have played phenomenal this year. They do have a good hockey team, and they finally have a goalie that's playing really good hockey for them. They have a lot going for them right now. They really do. Edmonton's injured. They really are. There's a lot that you factor in. And I do love the idea. And you brought up, and it's a perfect example. You said, they're due for it. The 1 in whatever chances, like, 4 in a row, like they're due for one. They're due for one. Okay, sure. Problem is they're playing against fucking McDavid and Draisaitl every year. They're due for one. When McDavid and Draisaitl retire, then you get your win against the Oilers. That's what's going to happen. Like, I'm sorry. So, again, I'm just being naive, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit scared about this one. I don't like that we don't know who our starting goalie is going to be at this point. I think a lot of people have faith in Pickard. Skinner just came back and had a shutout. Mind you, it was against the Sharks, still an NHL team. You still didn't have Ekholm. You still didn't have Draisaitl. You still didn't have, 9 guys in your lineup against the Sharks. So I don't want to hear it that it was a shutout. It was against the Sharks. Well, yeah, they had to play a bunch of guys that shouldn't have been in their roster too. So it was a pretty decently average game. Skinner had a shutout. Whatever you take that as is. Game 82. I truthfully am nervous, but I've seen this play out. I've seen it play out for the last 2 years of how this goes down, because LA's had home ice 3 of the 4 times. So it doesn't make me nervous, but I'm just scared that the team's not going to show up the way they should. Adam Henrique slowed down big time this season. The Nuge hasn't produced points-wise the same, albeit he's looked solid. There's a lot of depth pieces that I don't think the Oilers made the right decisions on this season. But they made those decisions based on what they know they can do in the playoffs.
Right.
Mind you, one big decision that I think that was a mistake was bringing in Jeff Skinner over Dylan Holloway. That's a mistake, and Jeff Skinner hasn't played a single game in the playoffs, but we don't know. What if Jeff Skinner comes in and he's a playoff performer right away? If he scores 2 or 3 goals in this series alone, don't you think that's a pretty significant help for the Oilers? When you got to think Draisaitl and McDavid are going to produce. They always do in the playoffs. I don't care if they're injured. Yeah. Draisaitl was injured the entire last 2 playoff series. In Vancouver and in the finals. Like, they still produced at a 1.5 per game. But like I said, I don't know with this one. This is the toughest. I haven't felt very uncomfortable with these series in a while. And I do with this one. I just, for some reason, I still think Edmonton's going to win in 6. I do feel, though, like they're going to split in the first 2 games. I wouldn't be surprised if Edmonton wins the first game, and then I wouldn't be surprised if the LA wins like 3-0 or 4-1 or something in game 2. But I got Edmonton in 6. Slightly biased, but they're still a good hockey team, man. They're a very good hockey team. They 100%. Slipped as well, too, don't forget. They had like a 8 or 9 game stretch, or like a 12 some odd game stretch where they were terrible. They went like 4-10 or something like that across the board and missed out on a lot of points, right? So they could have possibly ended up playing Minnesota in the first round. So you never know. But yeah, I got Edmonton in 6. My X factor in the series, Evander Kane. He's my X factor because he's skating and he is going to be ready for game 1.
Yeah. I think mine, I'm gonna say Evan Bouchard for me, based on with Ekholm out, how much load can Evan Bouchard take on that back end? Him and Nurse, but
I would have went with, it's interesting. I would have went with a Nurse if that's the case, and I'm interested that you said Bouchard because he had a down season. He really did. Which if you're Stan Bowman in the Oilers' wallet, you're like, thank you.
Thank
we
God.
Might have just saved ourselves $2 million if we signed him last year versus this year. The Oilers might get Bouchard at a lot cheaper number than people think now. If he doesn't have another playoff run of putting up 1.5 a game, he's been pretty damn good in the last 2 playoffs as well. So I agree. I'd like to see that, but for the sake of argument and for the sake of wrapping the podcast up, I do think Edmonton in 6. I got Evander Kane, and you got Bouchard, and you have Oilers in 7.
Yep.
There you go. Love it. Is there anything else on those first round matchups that you want to say? Anything that you got left over or anything like that?
No, I think I've covered kind of everything.
We're back.
I'm looking forward to it, baby, and we're back tomorrow.
Who are your top 3 cup winning predictions?
Like who? Yeah, okay. Vegas. Obviously, I'd love to say Tampa, but I don't know. I'll say Vegas, Dallas.
I'll say Toronto.
No problem. My number 1, I'm going Colorado. My number 2, I'm going Tampa Bay. And my number
baby.
and my number 3, I am gonna go with
the San Jose Sharks.
The San Jose Sharks. No, my number 3. I went. What did I do? I went
Colorado,
Colorado
Tampa.
1. I went Tampa Bay number 2, and I'm going to do Edmonton Oilers number 3.
Yeah, I just hate. Like, I would love to say Tampa, but I'm always superstitious with picking my own team for stuff. So
yeah,
obviously Tampa would be number 1, but I just don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah, no, I love that. I forgot to do it, so it's good luck. 4 for 4. 4 for 4 on Canada teams going through. We're at least guaranteed 1. Let's get 4 Canadian teams into the round 2. That would be phenomenal for us. That would be a screw you to the States. We need this right now. Let's keep Canada's game at home, baby. Let's go. Playoffs are back, baby. With that being said, let's wrap that right up here. It's another edition. The Soft Dump in the Corner podcast presented to you by North 6 Sports. Please be sure to go out and follow, like, and subscribe on all social media platforms. Have a great Easter weekend, folks.
Yeah,
enjoy the start of the playoffs. Don't take it for granted. They are here for a mere maybe 2 months. At most, for some teams, maybe 10 days. Let's wrap that up, baby. Playoffs are back. Let's get it. Lord Stanley awaits. What was that?
Bands make a dance.
Band.